DHS official claims border more secure than ever, but truth is opposite of what Obama administration suggests. In true Orwellian fashion, the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security claimed the border is more secure than ever, has been before. Speaking to a liberal think tank yesterday, Deputy Secretary Al Gerando Makerkos, I'm having trouble pronouncing that, suggested a dip in apprehensions of illegal immigrants youth last month because they've just ordered them to let them go, meant the Obama administration has greatly strengthened border security, a fantasy considering that anyone, including ISIS, would have no problem walking to America. What we have achieved is tremendous progress, he claimed. I mean, this is all a sickening, sickening joke. And again, I want to explain. Yes, the war on terror is a hoax because it's aimed at gun owners, returning veterans, vets, libertarians, Christians, pro-lifers. Our government, the illegitimate part of it, is arming ISIS. And the border's wide open. So when they tell you, hey, you live in a post-9/11 world, we've got to spy on everything you do, track everything you do, increase the numbers of federalized police. They created the crisis. They ship in the drugs and then have asset forfeiture seizure taking cash out of your wallet when no drugs are found. Well, because it's a war on drugs. They introduced the crises to re-engineer the society and the civilization, period. They are converting us from a free society to a tyranny. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com. New recruits flock to ISIS following Obama's speech. Dozens of children dead after UN gives tainted vaccine to rebel-held Syria. See, it's all about getting the UN into Iraq and all these places to shoot these kids up and sterilize them. And yeah, some are going to have a bad response and die. It's the way it goes. Just the way it goes. But it's just a footnote when it's a bunch of dead kids every day or two with vaccines. And the inserts say it can kill you, but it's no big deal. Go take your Gardasil shot. You know, you can get a lot of attention for yourself when you bury your kid. A lot of trendy moms out there, a lot of soccer moms might like that. DHS official claims border more secure than ever. I mentioned that. Call your representative today. Vote no on military aid to Syrian rebels. Washington blog story about that. Russia's come out and said Free Syrian Army no longer exists. Rebels are coordinating with terrorists. Well, that's what Colonel Schaefer said a week and a half ago here. He was up in a secret briefing on the Hill, and they said it's way above 65%. And then I talked to another little source, and they said in that briefing, 95%. The Congress knows that the Pentagon has told them that 95% is al-Qaeda, and they don't want, just like a year ago, they didn't want to openly back the rebels and give them air support. And the Pentagon is telling them in classified briefings right now, do not do this. There's no way these weapons won't go to al-Qaeda. And it's more of a wink and a nod. They just want to be on record not supporting this. Because as corrupt as the military brass is, this is really evil. I mean, they're going to go into Syria and kill every Christian and Jew they find and every non-radical Muslim, and they're going to kill literally hundreds of thousands more. And General Jack Dempsey, for all of his problems, went to Obama over a year ago and said, do not attack Syria, do not back up al-Qaeda. We're going to have a rebellion in the armed forces, and it's going to come out that you're aiding al-Qaeda. So that's why I've said it's a real moral moment for the U.S. military and for the FBI, for that matter, that are out arresting ISIS people. When I guarantee you that's not who they've been told to target. And they are being forced to release them or drop the cases. But they're trying to go after these real people. Just like before 9/11, the FBI was tracking the hijackers and trying to stop them, being ordered to stand down in Phoenix and in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and on and on and on. They're compartmentalized, though. Their hands are tied. So now Dempsey, in testimony yesterday, admitted that they know Arab allies who fund ISIS, because they all know the 28 pages is set to come out. And I've talked to Congressman Jones on air earlier this year. I've talked to Colonel Schaefer, and I've talked to other sources. And I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to say anymore, okay? But it's known what's in the 28 pages, and it's confirmed from our sources on air, Congressman, that Saudi Arabia was running the whole show. And I'm not scapegoating just Saudi Arabia. By saying Saudi Arabia was the quarterback, the entire Western intelligence system, the Germans, the Israelis, the British, the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, Defense Intelligence, Naval Intelligence, at the highest levels, all knew as well. And the Joint Chiefs of Staff, ABC News, USA Today, canceled a trip the week before 9/11 that was set for 9/11 to visit Wall Street. Instead, Warren Buffett had all the major CEOs, over 200, at a, quote, special invited event, flew them in the night before to meet at a secret hangar at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. This is Associated Press, what I'm telling you. And they were all told something at that event. We don't know what it was. It's classified. Tell you how high-level Warren Buffett is, folks. Do you understand? I'm just giving you some nexus points here, some dots. But Saudi Arabia ran the operation. And our government, bare minimum, knew in order to stand down. Now, it was very compartmentalized. The computers were taken over at NORAD. This came out in the 9/11 hearings. The computers were taken over, and they didn't call it a hack. They said, well, who's taking control of the system? What are all these simulations in here? And they just laid airplanes and stuff all over everywhere where they couldn't tell what was going on. That's the problem with everything wired into Skynet. Everything centralized. Every iPhone, every droid, every computer, every new appliance wired in to get these codes with codes put into them that God knows who can go in and hijack or control. And then no one knows what's going on. South Korea is going entirely to giant robot sentries with 50 cal and even higher caliber guns, artillery. What was Napoleon's quote? War is made with artillery. Napoleon Bonaparte. What did Rudyard Kipling say? Thank God the guns. Thank God the guns. Or what's the exact quote? It's like, the guns. Thank God for the guns. The point is that everything's converting to robots. Everything's converting to drones. Everything is converting right now. This is a master Trojan horse takeover. And they tell people at the NSA, oh, it's being done to defeat other cyber systems in the future, the Russians, the Chinese. It's above that. The Chinese meet with the top globalists routinely, and there's a double cross going on. And this is a Skynet takeover. But the eugenicists, transhumanists run it. And they believe they are going to transcend humanity. Speaking of General Dempsey, why not play that clip where he admitted that he knows of Arab allies who fund ISIS? That's because we give the weapons to Qatar. We give the weapons to Saudi Arabia, fence it to a third party, plausible deniability. You know, you go rob somebody's house, you take it to a fence, who then goes in, who isn't the actual person doing it, and then they sell it to the pawn shop. It's the same thing. Give the weapons to Saudi Arabia and the M16s, the TOW missiles, the Stingers, and then they give it to Al-Qaeda. Or the ambassadors at a substation with 3 warehouses full of Stinger missiles, you name it. You just kill him. You just order a stand down. You send Al-Qaeda, who's the local security from Benghazi, who runs the city, send him over to kill him. But 2 sheep-dipped Navy SEALs, CIA commandos, they didn't stand down. They ran back. So instead of it taking 2 hours to kill the ambassador, it took 6, 7 hours. And so it was embarrassing, as our military had to sit there and watch a stand down and see they've all now been made accomplices to it. They don't like it. They're like, wow, we really just killed our own ambassador and people to let a bunch of jihadis kill him. And they had to watch it on the overheads. And 6 hours into it, the order came from the White House to just turn it off. So everybody's on ships. They're in Italy. They're at the military bases. They're all, I've talked to the people. They're all sitting there watching in HD infrared, not the stuff they show you on the news. They can watch grasshoppers hopping around the ground with us. Just watching the jihadis kill everybody, watching them drag the ambassador around, watching them offload the missiles and load them on trucks and take them where they took them. And they're all going, wow, it's really all true. Our government runs Al-Qaeda. Our government just killed everybody there so they could have plausible deniability with the jihadis, who are then going to hold the West hostage with the 15,000 Stinger missiles and all the other goodies. And when they shoot down airplanes or when they come across the border and blow stuff up, Dick Durbin will come out and say, it's the anti-immigration lobby. They didn't open the border, so this happened. He's in the news. You're like, but that doesn't make sense. This is an overthrow of reality we're now witnessing. I love this Orwellian headline from McClatchy, who I really respect as a news publication syndicate. They're one of the only mainstream media outlets that I continue to see true, groundbreaking, real investigative journalism from. Labor Department announces grants to fight tax cheats. But that's in response to the Labor Department being caught letting big major Fortune 100 companies not pay taxes. So you read the headline and you think, oh, the Labor Department's doing something good. But they're not. And then some people will say, well, Alex, aren't you for paying less taxes? Yeah. But you can't have the ultra-rich avoiding the taxes, because then they'll lobby to raise taxes on poor and working class and middle class to get more government contract money. It's billionaires on average, if you look it up, lobby for bigger government and higher taxes because they're exempt, and then they transfer the money to themselves. And look, I know I harp on this every week. It's the key to everything. They've got us all worried about what color we are and fighting with each other over our genders and not trusting each other, while the big mega banks run the country, are getting rid of our sovereignty, and have gotten tens of trillions of dollars in banker bailout money. And in this article, it admits at the federal and state level that the agencies literally do agreements saying big corporations don't have to pay their taxes. And I meant to do a story on this. I was at the gym yesterday on the elliptical, and I picked up a GQ that somebody had left laying in there, and I read a bunch of articles, and every article was how men need to act pathetic and weak to get women, and how the new chivalry is, you know, how to be polite to women and not offend them was the cover story. And I knew what I was going to read before I read it. It was social engineering. Just, well, yes, still grovel to women, but they're your boss, and still pay for everything and still do what they say, and but you're pathetic. Yeah, they found it. How to be polite to women without making them angry. It actually says something else, but I'm not going to say it on air. So people are like, why? Well, we have a lot of very conservative radio listeners, and I just like to keep it family. But how to be polite to women without, whatting them off. And then it was every article. And then I start watching the TV ads where the executive never knows what he's doing if he's male, and the woman tells him everything. And it's just bombarding with this garbage of social engineering while a bunch of rich, powerful men scam everybody. It's just a wall-to-wall message to women is hate men, put them down, they're stupid, you get ahead when they lose. White people are all racist, blah, blah, blah. Just political correctness is psychological warfare to screw the country up, period.
The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.